Hey friends, I have been meaning to do a video on detoxing and the myth that people get stuck on when we're doing a cleanse. First things first, your body cleanses itself, detoxes itself. You have detoxing organs. You have your skin, your liver, your kidneys, lymphatic system, urinary tract, digestive system. All of them are part of your detoxing system, plus your lungs, because also breathing does that. That's really important to know because people get fixated on cleanses, thinking that they have to do super trooper extreme cleanses and that they are these very heavy duty approaches and that you can't move, you can't function. So no, your body naturally detoxes, but we can and should have systems that support that detoxification. What does that mean? That means that we don't get in the way of our body when the body is trying to do its job. How do we get in the way? We get in the way when we're eating crap, when we're eating junk food, super trooper processed food. We get in the way when we're not working out because our lymphatic system needs movement to even move. We are getting in the way when we are drinking non-clean water, when we are smelling, when we are breathing in toxic air. Now I know the world is toxic and like, okay, what are we gonna live under a bell? No, you're not. But oftentimes the air inside your home is actually more polluted than the air outside. Why? The products you use in the home to clean, scented candles, those plug-in scented whatever. Be careful, those things are toxic and you don't want to use them. You also clog up your skin when you're using toxic skincare. So your products need to be organic and as natural as possible, and there are many wonderful brands out there that you can use. So find one close to you, find someone you know that maybe uses essential oils, that doesn't use parabens and all the other stuff, that doesn't use mineral oils that clog up the skin. Go as natural as you can, and that means you have to stop buying your skincare products in the supermarket, and that it will cost a little bit more. And hopefully as more people use these things, they will get cheaper because the demand goes higher, then that becomes mainstream. Bigger companies start investing in these things too, which is happening, but of course they're not perfect. And of course we want to support smaller brands, but unfortunately a lot of people can't afford a 10 euro cream. So they're like, hey, if a brand that is massive does it and I can pay 5 instead of 10, I will do that. I understand it. Let's try and support who we can though, and do what you have to do, but put stuff on your skin that doesn't clog up your skin. Sometimes that means actually really taking it down to using coconut oil on your skin as a moisturizer and just stopping the fancy stuff. So try to be that mindful. Another really big myth about cleansing, that you have to just rest and you can't move and you can't work out. When you're cleansing, when you're on a cleanse, you want to move your body and you are going to be working out. Now, of course, if you're doing a water fast for an extended period of time, which is done under the supervision of a medical professional, not on your own. If you're doing more than 3 days, you want to do it with a medical professional because they need to check your kidney functions and so on. Then you're not gonna go to a HIIT class, you're not gonna go to a hardcore weightlifting class. You're not gonna do that. I get it. But if you are doing a cleanse like the Dr. Morse's cleanse with herbs and fruit, then guys, you can work out and you should work out. In any case, when you work out, the beautiful thing that happens is you start sweating, and we talked about the skin being the biggest organ, so you want to sweat. Sweat is good for you. So those things are key, and you need to really take the time to understand this. Switch on. Now let's go to talk about the fruit and the herbs. that is the approach I use when I work with my clients. I don't do water fasts. I can suggest it for 2 or 3 days, as I said, maximum, if is needed, like your body needs that extra push. On occasion, and I've never actually done it or suggested it, on occasion, however, some people have found that doing 1 day of dry fast, when they don't need to drink anything, can really push the kidneys to expel and filter. But I wouldn't recommend it. Water is important, and so water fast is okay, but you do it for 3 days at home, or if it's longer than that, you do it with a medical professional. So what happens when you're doing the cleanse that I work with, which is the fruit and the raw food? You are going to be okay. The biggest energy source for your body is glucose, and when you're having your fruit and vegetables, that is not in shortage. So you're going to have energy, you're going to be able to focus. In fact, you'll focus even better. Do the cleanse and lead your normal life. Work out, meditate, go for walks, be active. Don't stop because you're cleansing. The other thing that people have to stop worrying about, stressing about, fixating about is the protein. I cannot tell you how many people are like, oh my gosh, I'm eating this and there's not enough protein. You get enough protein. Have you ever met if you're listening to this, you have internet and you don't live in some third world country, and you probably haven't met anybody that is protein deficient ever. Because protein deficiency doesn't come from not eating enough flesh or enough beans. It comes from not having enough food, which means you have to be in extreme poverty with no access to food. Therefore, you're not going to have enough protein because you're not going to have enough anything. So please, let's stop that craziness. Every single plant has amino acids, the essential amino acids that you need to make up protein. That's good news, right? So, when you see a cow in a field, what do you think that cow is eating? That cow is not eating the flesh of another cow. That cow is eating grass. So if the cow that is eating grass can get enough protein to then have protein in their flesh, which most people eat for protein, you can see, right, that you don't need flesh to have protein. So making that connection, because the craziness about protein needs to go away. We get enough. On a varied diet, you get enough. When you do a cleanse, you do a cleanse for an extended time, sometimes if needed, or at least 10 days. And in those 10 days, you get still a lot of protein from the vegetables, the raw vegetables, and you get it from the fruit in less amounts, but you get it. When you start eating a little bit of pulses, perhaps after you're done with the herbs or something like that, you start getting all the proteins you need too. You can start getting some quinoa. Basically, you're gonna be okay. Now, there are people that need to cleanse longer, and they need to cleanse really committing to the fruit, the herbs, and the raw veggies, because they need pure regeneration, meaning they may have some neurological issue where they need the lymphatic system to truly open up, the kidneys to truly open up, to let go of toxins if they have cancer, and allow the body to regenerate. In those cases, you go on the fruit diet mostly, and you stay on it for an extended period of time with the herbs, and still these people are not going to get deficient in anything. They are regenerating. So I know this is controversial, people are really freaking out, but for the most of you that are listening to this, your cleanse is going to last 10 days, 2 weeks. No risk whatsoever of having any deficiencies, of having any problems. In fact, this is really good to just kickstart your body to work properly. Then, what do you do after the cleanse is done? You don't go and eat a McDonald's burger. You're going to have to slowly start eating food in a mindful way, which means you still keep high raw, you still keep your fruit intake in the morning so that you're hydrated. You still are mindful about what you're eating, even if you're starting to add more things like grains, pulses, and so on. Ultimately, I know some of you here still eat animal products. I will never tell somebody what to do, but I want to inspire you to let go of it because you don't need it. And there is no reason to eat animals when you can get amino acids from the plants in abundance. You just have to do it right, and you have to be mindful of it. And the argument that you have to have flesh to have protein is long gone, and people that are holding on to that are not looking at the science. They're stuck in a way of thinking that suits them, and that is science that was shared before. It's 2024. Science is evolving. Is it bad for you to eat animal products? Not necessarily. I say this all the time. You can actually be very healthy by having some animal products such as fish, some meat. But generally speaking, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be thriving, you're going to be more compassionate, you're going to be happier if you can be healthy too on a plant-based diet. And your impact on yourself is just very small if you then think about the impact you have on the planet. So you have to think about that. And I really believe that also the impact we have on other lives, the animals' lives, is important too. Because why would we want to be these dictators that take life away when we don't have to? We're not surviving here. We have access to everything. Whether people like to argue about this or not, I don't think you should argue, but converse about it. People are like, I don't want to talk about this. Well, you don't want to talk about it, but when you look in the mirror and you think about it, you don't have to. If you don't have to do something, you're making a choice. But please be honest about the choice you make that is completely selfish, because you don't have to do it. You want to do it because your taste bud is more important than your ethical values and caring for another life. And I think until you switch that on, it's an argument that you cannot win with anybody, because they won't accept that they are choosing to take a life. They don't see that as a life, even if it is, right? So I know the ethical stuff is it's key to this point, but unfortunately it's a debate that will go on forever. But when I think about the planet and the impact we have on it, then yeah. So back to the cleanse. Those are real myths that I wanted to bust, because they are deterrent to people's progress when it comes to the health. When you are cleansing, you're completely fine to live a normal life. And if you feel like, I'm restricted, hey, you know how much food you can eat on a cleanse? Like, you can eat fruit galore. You can have your raw salads, some steamed vegetables, and you will feel amazing. I have one after another feedback and testimonial from clients that have done the cleanse with me, and they found it challenging more in their head than in practice, because when they started eating, they ate a lot, and they were like, this food is awesome, I really like it. And in that change, they shifted a lot of stuff, including how they saw food and how they saw themselves in this world, in the cycle of life, in the circle of life. So it's really, really awesome that happens, and it's really, really awesome that we can have that extra step. So guys, when it comes to cleansing, it is about helping your body do its job. So give the tools that you can to make it happen. That means go on and connect to nature, because she's got everything we need. I hope this was helpful. See you soon.